नित्यानन्देश्वर सदाशिव समारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरि आदिशक्तिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I welcome all the Sarvangjapita Yajamans, Nitya Satsangis, Shri Mahants, Mahants, Kotaris, Tanedar, everyone who is sitting with us all over the world through Nityananda TV, Facebook Live, and hundreds of Adinavasis channels, Kalki TV, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and two-way video conferencing, having Nayana Diksha all over the world. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. Before continuing the Adinam Chalo series, today we have a special guest in our morning satsang, the 232nd Guru Maha Sannidhanam of Tondai Mandala Adinam, Srila Sri Tiruvambala Jnana Prahasa Deshika Paramacharya Swami. So let me first welcome him with my humble respects, then we will continue to have the morning satsang. At least our Sangha does not need introduction to Swamiji, because they all know Swamiji is my Kula Guru, the Guru of the community I am born and brought up. And my personal association with Swamiji goes more than 15 or I think around 20 years. And if you see the old photographs, the first Adinam I started, the first ashram I started in Erode was inaugurated by Swamiji. It is Swamiji who inaugurated the whole Sangha. We have photographs. In 2000 end, Swamiji personally came and visited the land we were supposed to have the first Adinam in Erode, the banks of Kaveri. Then 2001, he came and did a formal inauguration of the Adinam. We have photographs. Yes, we have photographs of Swamiji visiting the land where the first Adinam Adi Nityanandeshwara Devasthanam is standing now. And another Swamiji who is there is from Tiruvavaduduri Adinam. He is the Tambiran from Tiruvavaduduri Adinam, Kumaraswamy Tambiran. And also we had a public function where Swamiji came and inaugurated. There will be a function in the stage. That is the first public function we had. It was April 14th, 2001. Swamiji came and inaugurated the first Adinam, first ashram we inaugurated. And Swamiji has had full education and life as government officer in electricity board, and then took up the Pita Tondemandala Adinam, which is the literally oldest Adinam in the whole south, which has an unbroken lineage of till now 232 Guru Maha Sannidhanams from Sadashiva himself. It is direct Sampradaya from Mahadeva Sadashiva himself. And Swamiji is here today as a special guest. So I welcome him again with my love and respects. And I also wanted to put it on record, which I did not do yesterday. Srimad Swami Smarananandaji has been elected as President of Ramakrishna Math and Mission, and as Mahamandaleshwar of Mahanirvani Akada, and the head of the Multani Madi, which was headed by Totaburi, who was Guru of Sri Ramakrishna, as representative of Mahanirvani Akada, and the head of the Multani Madi, I offer my best wishes and humble respects to Srimad Swami Smarananandaji Maharaj, and I pray to Sadashiva, Kapilamuni, Totaburi, and Sri Ramakrishna, the Sampradaya Vriddhi, let Sampradaya Vriddhi happen under the blessings and guidance of Srimad Swami Smarananandaji Maharaj. I already sent my personal respects through Swami Atma Pujananda, who is in charge of our Varanasi Ashram. Varanasi Mahant went and offered our respects. Here formally, I am conveying my best wishes and respects to Swami Smarananandaji Maharaj and whole Ramakrishna Math and Mission. With this, I'll continue on the Adinam Chalo series. Yesterday I was expanding on Vedagamic cities. Understand? Human settlements to realize the state of Sadashiva, space of Sadashiva, manifest the powers of Sadashiva, is called Adinam. It is not just a monastery, it is not just a nunnery, it is not just the place where Grihasthas lived. Understand? Adinam is not ashram. In Kamikagama, Sadashiva expands on his vision of Adinam. Understand? His vision about Adinam is first introduced in Kamikagama, 7th chapter. 3 chapters he talks about it. Fortunately, 2 chapters are already translated in English, available. The third one is available in original Sanskrit. He introduces the concept of Adinam in Kamikagama. In Karanagama, he expands. The exact definition is, it's a place, human settlement, of course, not just human beings, human settlement, along with animals and nature and everything, because all Adinams have to have animal husbandry. Understand? Around 47 components has to be there for a complete Adinam as per Sadashiva's description. Till now we have done only 30. We have not completed the remaining things, maybe in next 6 months. By the end of this year, we will complete the whole definition of Adinam as per Sadashiva. He says there should be a large Goshala, there should be the place, separate place for Brahmanas and Adishaivas, and there should be separate place for Rudraganyas, there should be separate place for Vidyarthis, a separate place for Vaishyas, separate place for Kshatriyas, a separate place where people who don't want to fall into any of these structures, who disowned the grid, we call them Chandalas. There should be a separate place for them. A whole settlement which decides to manifest Sadashivatva, means live the state, radiate the space, manifest the powers of Sadashiva. It's a human settlement for those beings. Fortunately, we have Sadashiva's vision document available to us. It is time we make it happen. He says 1/10 of the land, means 10% of the land should be water body. It can be flowing or stagnant. But any human settlement, 10% of the land should be water body. I was surprised by his vision about the agriculture, his water consumption, his economy, the way he balances the economy. You see, if you make a Adinam as per Sadashiva's vision, it will be literally like a Vedagamic city. If you make a city the way he talks, it will be complete self-sustaining city. It will be a complete self-sustaining establishment. All these modern day ecological communities, self-sustaining communities, all these ideas, maybe 60 to 70,000 years before, elaborately as described, and it is time. We have created human beings. Successfully, we have created thousands of human beings who are living, wants to live sincerely the Sadashiva's lifestyle. The way Sadashiva describes the life. Understand, it is time and our responsibility to create first modern day Vedagamic cities. First modern day Vedagamic cities and Vedagamic universities. It's our responsibility to create. And fortunately, Sadashiva has blessed us with enough intelligence, enough wealth, above all, enough spiritual powers to make it happen. See, all the major settlements of India, I do not want to call them as cities because the modern day cities have nothing to do with agamas and nothing to do with original grand narrative of Bharat, India and Hinduism. They are big mess. That is why so much of disturbance in nature and human consciousness. But all the ancient settlements, Kashi, Kanchi, Madurai, Tiruvannamalai, and now the digging is happening in Madurai, the place called Keeladi. Keeladi means the east feet, means east side, just east of Tirupparangundram, Madurai. The whole research, excavation is happening, which is establishing the age of the Madurai at least 7 times more than what any historians have predicted as on now. Understand? In the series of satsangs I gave in Madurai Adinam, I predicted the age of Madurai city and the time Meenakshi was in the physical body. Maybe 6 months before, the researchers who are excavating Keeladi are coming to the same conclusion. When I gave the timeline of Madurai, people were laughing at me and few were commenting. Even the so-called reputed journals and media was reporting, oh, he's talking stupid things. And now, the Keeladi excavation is suddenly establishing my claim of Madurai's history and its antiquity. Soon we will have more evidences to establish how Meenakshi planned the whole city as per Kamikagama and ran the whole city. The whole administration was done as per Manunidhi Shastra. The Shivalila Arnava, the earliest recorded history of Meenakshi and Sadashiva, describes very clearly Kamikagama was the spiritual scripture, Somasambhu Pattadi was operational ritual manual, Manunidhi Shastra was the administrative law book. All these are recorded elaborately in Shivalila Arnava. Now, I established the timeline recorded in Shivalila Arnava through the modern day excavation in the banks of Vaigai, Keeladi, the ancient civilization. Actually, when I gave the time limit, the Keeladi excavation has not yet happened, and Keeladi excavation did not reveal their discoveries. Now they are revealing whatever they revealed, and very coincidentally, the number of sites they explored is 293. And now the carbon dating of everything they discovered in Kiradi establishes the timeline I claimed for Madurai from Shivalila Arnava, the history of Madurai, the earliest history of Madurai. And maybe little more research will prove the whole city was built as per Kamikagama. The whole settlement lived a pure Shaivite life. It was a grand Shaivite city to celebrate Shaivism. It's time and our responsibility to build a modern day Vedagamic city as per Sadashiva's guidance in Agamas, as per his vision document. And I can very comfortably visualize in a very doable way 100,000, 1 lakh people settling here. A settlement of 1 lakh people completely built as per the vision document of Kamikagama, Karanagama, as per the vision document of Agamas, following Agamic Vastu and all the inputs of Agamas. We will be able to make the city. Understand, already we are living here, so we can't use the word livable. We will be able to comfortably operate the city with 100,000 people as per Mahadeva, Sadashiva's vision. Maybe when I am 42, in next 3 years. See the speed with which we are growing and expanding. I am looking at 42. By 42, we should be able to operate a full Vedagamic city with all the 47 characteristics Sadashiva explains. He describes the kind of a tree supposed to be, flowers supposed to be, the garden supposed to be developed, roads supposed to be built. And I do have a very strong feeling there were electricity-based vehicles for human transportation in those days. I do not find any trace of petrol fuel, but I do find the references of electricity-based vehicles. There was methodology of producing electricity through traditional batteries, and they were using that knowledge. Maybe by His grace, we will decode those circuits and bring that knowledge back, discover it back, and present it to the whole world. Musical instruments, rituals, incense, perfume, dress, jewelry, the methods of battering and dance, what not. He has spoken elaborately about everything. festivals, celebrations, processions, cooking. Literally, he has spoken about everything. And it's time and our responsibility to revive the Mahadeva's vision document of Vedagamic city. So with this, now I hand over the stage to our special guest, Srila Sri Tiruvambala Jnana Prahasa Desika Paramacharya Swamiji, 232nd Guru Maha Sannidhanam of Tondemandala Adinam, were direct descendants of Sadashiva Mahadeva himself. So I request Swamiji to share few words and bless us all.
I thank you first of all for having given me a chance to address the great audience before me. Namachivaya Varga, Nadandar Varga. Our Swamiji has given an elaborate picture about the Kidadi excavation near Madurai. Before that excavation, the history of Pandyas are mainly dependent on the Velvikudi Cheppeded and Chinnamanur copper plates. Those chronological facts were known to the outside world about the Pandya kingdom. But now, as in the Indus Valley civilization, Madurai near Keeladi is also a great excavation, and from which our culture, our civilization, about our every activity of the particularly Tamilians and the whole of India, the Veda Agamic syndication. ஆக மதுரை கீழடி பற்றி இன்றைய தினம் நம்முடைய சுவாமிகள் உங்களுக்கு விளக்கமளித்தார்கள். நாம் இதுவரை உலகிலேயே மிகப்பெரிய நாகரிகம் என்று நினைத்து கொண்டதெல்லாம் ரோமானிய நாகரிகங்கள் மற்ற மத்திய ஐரோப்பிய நாகரிகங்களை பற்றித்தான் நினைத்து கொண்டிருந்தோம். ஆனால் முகஜோதரா, ஹரப்பா, சிந்துவெளி நாகரிகம் தோண்டி சர்ஜான் மார்ஷல் தோண்டி எடுத்து அவற்றை எல்லாம் வெளி உலகிற்கு வெளியிட்டதற்கு அப்புறம் சற்று ஓரிரு வருடங்களுக்கு முன்பு வரை அதுதான் மிகப்பெரிய பழமையான நாகரிகம் என்று நாம் நினைத்து கொண்டிருந்தோம். ஆனால் உண்மை அதுவல்ல. உண்மையான நாகரிகம் இப்போது மதுரைக்கு பக்கத்திலே கீழடியிலே தோண்டி எடுக்கப்பட்ட புதைபொருள் ஆய்வுகளிலிருந்து தான் அது தெரிய வருகிறது. ஆகவே அதை மேலும் மேலும் இடைவிட்டு நிறுத்திவிடாமல் இன்னும் ஆழமாக தோண்டி இன்னும் அகன்ற பரப்புகள் தோண்டி எடுத்து பார்க்க வேண்டியிருக்கிறது. அவருடைய கட்டிடக்கலை முறை, அவருடைய சுகாதார ஏற்பாடுகளாகிய அந்த ஜலதார சிஸ்டங்கள் மற்றும் நகை ஆபரணங்கள், உணவு சமைக்கும் முறை, உணவு சமைக்கும் பாத்திரங்கள், அவர்களுடைய வழிபாட்டு முறைகள், அவர்கள் அடைந்திருந்த ஆடை அணிகலன்கள் எல்லாமே மேலும் மேலும் ஆராய்ந்தால் நம்முடைய பழமையான நாகரிகம், குறிப்பாக தமிழர் நாகரிகம், பொதுவாக இந்திய நாகரிகம் உலகத்திலேயே ஈடு இணையற்றதாக இருக்கும் என்பதில் எந்தவித சந்தேகமும் இல்லை என்பதை ஆய்வாளர்கள் எல்லோரும் ஒருமுகமாக ஒப்புக்கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். ஆக இன்றைய இந்த சந்தர்ப்பத்திலே என்னையும் இந்த மேடைக்கு எதிர்பாராத விதமாக அழைத்து, நான் முந்தா நாள் உங்கள் சுவாமியுடைய சொற்பொழிவை கங்கா ஜலத்திலும் காவேரி ஜலத்தில் நீங்கள் எப்படி ஜல்பு பிடிக்கிறது என்று சொல்லி உதாசீனம் பண்ணுகிறது. ஜல்ப் பிடிக்காது. அதை கங்கா ஜலத்தையும் காவேரி ஜலத்தையும் 3:30 மணிக்கு எழுந்து குளித்தீர்கள் என்றால் அதிலிருந்து கண்ணுக்கு தெரியாத அளவுக்கு ஆயிரம் உயிரணுக்களெல்லாம் மீண்டும் மீண்டும் புத்துணர்ச்சி பெற்று அது உங்களுக்கு அளவில்லாத சக்தியை ஊட்டுகிறது என்ற ஒரு மாபெரும் கருத்தை இதுவரை யாரும் வெளியிடவில்லை. நம்முடைய சுவாமிகள் தான் அதை வெளியிட்டிருக்கிறார். ஆகவே எங்களுடைய மடத்திற்கும் அந்த வட்டாரத்திலே நித்யானந்த சுவாமிகளின் கருத்துக்களை பரப்ப வேண்டும் என்ற கொள்கையோடு ஒரு 4-5 பேரை அனுப்பியிருக்கிறார். 24 வால்யூம் பகவத்கீதைக்கு உரை எழுதியிருக்கிறார். அவருடைய இந்த 38 ஆண்டு வாழ்க்கையில் இந்தியாவில் பிறந்த எந்த ஒரு ஆசிரியரும் 38 வயதுக்குள்ளுக்குள் பகவத்கீதைக்கு உரை எழுதினார் என்ற வரலாறே கிடையாது. அது ஆங்கில மொழியில் மட்டுமல்ல, தமிழ் மொழியிலும் மொழிபெயர்க்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது மற்றும் கன்னடம், தெலுங்கு போன்ற மொழிகளிலும் தென்னிந்திய மொழிகளிலும் வெளியிடப்படும் என்றும் பின்னர் வடநாட்டு மொழிகளிலும் வெளியிடப்படும் என்றும் சொல்லியிருக்கிறேன். அப்படி அது பரவுமானால் அவருடைய அறிவின் திறத்தை தினந்தோறும் சொற்பொழிவு கேட்டுத்தான் தெரிந்து கொள்ள வேண்டிய அவசியமில்லை. அந்த உரைகளை படித்தாலே தாய்மொழியை தவிர ஆங்கிலம் போன்ற பிற மொழிகளை தெரியாதவர்களும் கூட மிக எளிதாக ஆங்கிலம் கற்றுக்கொள்ளலாம். தனியாக ஆங்கிலத்துக்கு போய் ஒரு டியூஷன் வச்சு கற்றுக்கிடணும் என்ற அவசியமே இல்லை. அவ்வளவு எளிமையாக அவர்கள் எழுதியிருக்கார். படிக்க படிக்க சுவையாக இருக்கிறது. நீங்கள் சுவாமிகளுடைய சொற்பொழிவை தினந்தோறும் தவறாமல் கேட்க வேண்டும். எங்களுடைய ஆசிரமத்துக்கு வந்திருக்கிறவர்கள் கூட காலையிலே 3:30 மணிக்கு எழுந்திருந்து நீராடி, அது முதல்ல யோகா பயிற்சி செய்து அதற்கு பின்னாலே நீராடி அதற்கு பின்னாலே பூஜையெல்லாம் முடித்து அதற்கப்புறம் இந்த நித்திய பிரசங்கத்தை கேட்காமல் கீழே இறங்கி வருவதில் அவர்களெல்லாம் மாடியில் இருக்கிறார்கள், நான் கீழே இருக்கிறேன். 9:30 மணிக்கு தான் அவங்க வருவாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் எல்லாம் டெய்லி ரொட்டீன் சொல்கிற டிஃபன் கிஃபன் எல்லாமே ஆகவே அவருடைய தினந்தோறும் செய்யும் பூஜையை கூட நீங்கள் இங்கிருந்தே காணலாம். இப்போது அவர்கள் வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் மடம் நாளுக்கு நாள் மிகவும் சுத்தமாக ஒரு சின்ன குப்பை ஒரு குறும்பு கூட இல்லாமல் எல்லாம் அவர்கள் குறைத்து மிகவும் சுத்தமாக வைத்து கொண்டிருக்கிறார். மற்றவர்கள் பொறாமைப்படும் அளவுக்கு சுத்தமாக வைத்திருக்கிறார்கள். நேற்று ஒரு நாள் மட்டும் நம்முடைய பின்புறம் இருக்கிற தோட்டத்தை சுமார் 8,000 ரூபாய்க்கு ஒரு ஆளுக்கு 500 ரூபா கூலி 10 பேர் வந்து வேலை செய்கிறார்கள். ரெண்டு நாளும் வேலை செய்து சுத்தம் செய்திருக்கிறார்கள். இப்போது மலர் செடிகளை மட்டுமல்லாமல் மூலிகைகள் நமக்கு உடம்புக்கு ஏற்படும் நோய்களை ஆஸ்பத்திரிக்கு சென்று அறுவை சிகிச்சை செய்து தான் அதை தீர்க்க வேண்டும் என்ற அவசியம் இல்லாமல் சாதாரண மூலிகைகளிலிருந்தே அதை பெறலாம் என்று சொல்கிறார். கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு முன்னாலே ஒரு சுவாமிகள் வடநாட்டிலிருந்து வந்தார். சாப்பாடு நேரம் வந்து விட்டது, சுவாமி சாப்பிடுகிறீர்களா என்று கேட்டேன். அப்போது ஒரு 5 நிமிடம் 10 நிமிடம் அவர் காத்திருக்க வேண்டி இருக்கும் போல் இருந்தது. ஆனால் அவர் அவசரமாக சென்னைக்கு செல்ல வேண்டும் என்று சொல்லி பசியை தீர்ப்பதற்கு ஒரு அருமருந்து சொல்லி கொடுத்தார். என்ன சொல்லி கொடுத்தார் தெரியுமா? நீங்கள் ஒவ்வொருவரும் மடியிலே ஒரு 10 துளசி இலையை வைத்திருக்க வேண்டும். எப்போது உங்களுக்கு உணவு கிடைக்கலையோ அந்த 10 துளசி இதழ்களையும் சாப்பிட்டு ஒரு தமிழர் தண்ணீர் குடித்தீர்கள் என்றால் அதற்கப்புறம் நீங்களாக பார்த்து உங்கள் வயிற்றுக்கு எப்போது ஆகாரம் கொடுக்க வேண்டும் என்று நினைக்கிறீர்களோ அப்போதே கொடுக்கலாம் என்று ஒரு அருமருந்தின் குணத்தோடு சொல்கிறார். அது மாதிரி ஆயிரக்கணக்கான மூலிகைகள் நம்முடைய நாட்டிலே இருக்கின்றன. அவற்றையெல்லாம் ஒவ்வொருவரும் எந்த மூலிகை எந்த நோயையை எவ்வித செலவுமின்றி அதை சாப்பிட்டாலே குணமாகிறது என்பதை நீங்கள் ஒவ்வொருவரும் இன்று முதல் அவசியம் தெரிந்து வைத்து கொண்டிருக்க வேண்டும் என்று சொல்லி என்னுடைய இந்த உரையை இந்த வாய்ப்பு கொடுத்ததற்காக சுவாமி அவர்களுக்கு எங்கள் மடத்தின் மூலமாக நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன்.
We thank Swamiji sincerely for coming and blessing all of us. I need to mention this important thing. Few days before I was talking about this Kumbh Mela, and one religious leader came, and when we invited him for taking bath in the Ganga, he said, no, jalpu pudichikum. Understand, in this age, Swamiji came and took bath in Ganga. Swamiji also came to Kumbh Mela. He was in our camp without missing. Regularly he went and did all the rituals, taking bath, visiting all the temples, everything. In this age, I have not seen anybody who is so continuously acting. I don't know how many of you know, still Swamiji attends the marriages when devotees call, Kumbhabhishekams. Kumbhabhishekam is the inauguration of temples. And any other ceremonies, festivals, which he is supposed to attend. You see, as a Sannidhanam, he will be invited to many public conferences, public dialogues, the temple rituals, festivals, and there are many rituals, festivals he is supposed to go. Even now in this age, surely Swamiji is octogenarian, means in 80s. He's crossed 80s, Swamiji?
85.
85. And
85 completed on 1/7/17.
So Swamiji is more than double of my age. I am only 39, 85, more than double. In this age, he attends all the functions, he attends all the celebrations, he attends all the festivals. I am shocked at least 30 functions a month he attends. 30 public appearances a month. Means almost at least every day one. Sometimes 2-3 in a day. He attends. And when he came to Kumbh Mela, he was completely active and alive, going to different temples, having darshan, taking bath, everything. In this age, he never even once told me, Jalpu Pudichikum. That person whom I said, Jalpu Pudichikum, he was not a Swami, he was a religious leader. I don't want to mention his name, but he is much, much younger. So this attitude has nothing to do with age. Swamiji is a great inspiration for his age, 85. If all of us even move out of our bed, if we are in the bed also is a big thing. And not only he moves out of the bed, he travels. He travels and he still goes and attends. If some devotees call any marriage ceremony or any family functions or public functions, that is something unimaginable. The energy and inspiration to be active. And energy and inspiration to be active. Swamiji was telling that I sent some of the brahmacharis there to spread my teachings. To tell you honestly, I sent them to learn from Swamiji, study under Swamiji, be his disciples and learn all the things he can contribute. You see, in this age, being so alive and active, going around, talking Saiva Siddhantam, teaching Shaivism. Few days before, Sundareshwara has uploaded a video where Swamiji was teaching about the Adi Mudal Nal, the first day of the Adi month, and the history and the introduction about it to all the brahmacharis. You should see that video. I have shared it actually in my Facebook already. Already I shared it in my Facebook page. It is there. You should see, in this age, without tiredness, he goes on sitting and telling the stories. Understand, in Hinduism, something called oral tradition exists. It's called Karana Parambarai. Means listening from the gurus, not just reading from the books. Because reading from the books, you will only get the standard factual information. When you listen from the gurus only, you will get the deeper secrets, the details. And the video is already uploaded. I have also shared in my Facebook page, where Swamiji is teaching about the Adi month, the beginning of the Adi month, some of the deeper insights from the Hinduism and Shaivite traditions. I actually sent brahmacharis to be with Swamiji, to learn from Swamiji, his inspiration, his activism, and the way he spreads Shaivism. We are fortunate and happy to have Swamiji and learn from him and have his guidance and blessings on all of us. So with this,
I invite you, all of you, batch by batch, to Kanjivaram.
Yes, Swamiji. Now I officially announce we will make this as a syllabus for all our Gurukul. Batch by batch, go and stay with Swamiji in Kanjivaram. So as many people as possible Swamiji can accommodate there. You all can go batch by batch and stay with Swamiji as many days as possible and learn. And Swamiji has amazing knowledge about the whole, not only Shaivism. See, Kanchipuram itself is a moksha puri, the place where enlightenment is given. And it is the city with the largest number of temples in the world. It's called temple city. More than 1,000 temples are there in that one city. More than 1,000 temples are there in that one city. And all stone temples. Don't think RCC, no. All stone temples. You should go and stay there with Swamiji, and with Swamiji you should go to those temples. So Swamiji will tell all the stories and the hidden secrets of the temple traditions. So we will surely make this as part of our syllabus. Batch by batch, all of you can go and be with Swamiji and request Swamiji to take you guys to the temples where he can tell all the many stories. You see, I am the product of Karna Parambarai. I heard all these stories from my elders, from my gurus, from my ancestors. That is the way I was introduced to Hinduism. Understand? 10,000 times more intensely what you listen from elders will get into your system than what you read from books. What you read from books will not get into you so deeply. But what you hear from the elders, the Karna Parambarai Kadaigal, the oral tradition gets into your system deeply. When we have Swamiji, we should have his blessings and use his intelligence, his guidance, his expertise, his experience. And that will be really wonderful. Thank you, Swamiji, for inviting. And all the Gurukul kids, we can have a schedule. You guys can go and stay with Swamiji. And we will also request Swamiji to take all of you to the temples in Kanchipuram. There are many temples, Ekambranadar, Varadaraja Perumal, and so many temples. Swamiji can give all the stories. Actually, if you just listen to all the temple stories, you will listen Shaivism. You will learn Shaivism. Just with the temple stories, you will learn whole Shaivism and the whole Shaivite concepts. So, with this, I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhatvaita Saivam, Sada Shivoham, the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.